Welcome back to my hometown. Thanks for taking a little time to join me today. Today I'm excited about our guest with a passion for running. Our guest today started a running group for women in Bowie, and she just loves to spend time with other ladies, run outdoors. I'd like you to welcome my guest today, Miss Leigh Deweber. Thank you, Leigh, for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
So, Leigh, when I initially asked you if you'd be on my hometown, because we do, on my hometown, I want to talk about organizations. May not be an official organization, but it is an organization because you've organized a group of women to get together and run, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. But first, we want to kind of get to know you a little bit and where you came from, and because you're not originally from Bowie. Where are you originally from?
I'm originally from San Antonio, or the San Antonio area. My husband and I met in Abilene, we got married, and we moved to Bowie.
So how long have you been in Bowie?
We've been in Bowie for about 18 years.
And what drew you to Bowie?
Well, my husband's a rancher, and so this is where we were going to live.
And so have you always been running? And so when you lived there, did you always run and be outside? And
So I ran track at a really small school where everybody ran track. And I just really enjoyed it. And so when I came here, I didn't know anybody, and it was just kind of a good way to get out and do something and just, have some activities.
So I'm from Bowie. I've been in Bowie all my life. And we have people that come in from outside of Bowie. How did you, an honest answer, when you came to Bowie, how did you find that reception to be? Because that was 18 years ago.
Reception of being in Bowie or running?
A reception of coming into Bowie and being part of Bowie.
Well,
honestly.
When we first moved here, I didn't know anybody. My husband didn't really know anybody. He's from Jacksboro. People were a little curious about us. People don't just kind of show up one day. But after we started having kids, people were very, very kind to us. And we've really liked it here so far.
Because sometimes moving into a new community, it's hard to integrate and get in part of that community.
Yes, when we first moved here, it was definitely a culture shock coming from San Antonio, moving here. A lot of things didn't look the same. People didn't act the same. I didn't have the stores I was used to. Just things were very different. So that was hard. And
you moved from big city to rural America.
Yes. And people...
and 18 years ago, we were a lot different than we are now.
Yes. Well, I thought people were very friendly, maybe too friendly at first. Oh, where are you from? Who's your grandma? Where's your neighbor? Things like that. And but it's funny, people now, like, I'm that person now.
Now you want to...
Where are you from? Who do you live next to?
Because you'll talk to anybody and everybody.
I do.
Yes.
Bowie does grow on you after a while.
Because then you become part of it.
Right.
And so you ran in college.
Well, not for college. I ran around the college.
Around the college. So you ran, and then did you continue running after college? And
I did. Just my husband and I ended up having 3 kids, and through those pregnancies and afterwards, I just would walk or I would run or always try to do something. I think it's good for your mental health, physical health, everything.
Do you come from a physical, active family?
Well, I have 5 sisters. My parents are not, they weren't growing up super active, but my dad has recently started running quite a bit, and he just qualified for Boston, which I'm so proud of him. Yeah.
And he's been working at that for quite a while.
Yes.
To qualify for Boston.
Yes, for years.
Yes.
And he is 66, and he runs constantly, and I'm very proud of him.
And would you say your dad's faster than you?
Unfortunately, yes. He is faster than me right now, but I hope, I tell him by the time he turns 70, I'm coming for him.
So how long has your dad been running?
So maybe he's been running competitively maybe about 15 years.
So you said competitively. Do you run competitively?
That is a great word. No, I would say I do like to go to competitions, go to races, things like that, but mostly just for the social aspects of it. I'm not a super competitive person.
So I run also, and we run for two different reasons. So for you run for social.
Right.
To engage with other people, talk to them, be out there, because you like to talk the whole time.
Right. Right.
For me, I run because I like the medal.
Right.
So if you are a runner and you like the medals, what do you do with your medals that you get at races that, if you do a half and all that, they give you this finisher medal? What do you do with your medals?
Well, I personally do not keep my medals because I just am not that attached to them. I sub at schools, and so I put my medals into prize boxes, and I let the kids get it from earn a prize.
So they can play with them and have them.
Yes, and they just walk around. They're wearing their medals around school, and it makes my day seeing them.
But it doesn't hurt your feelings to get rid of them, or?
No, for me, I'm not attached to them at all. But I know a lot of people are attached to them, and it really kind of motivates them, and so that's good for them.
So, and I wanted you to share that because I want people to see that running is really not only your passion, but it's really just something you really enjoy. Deep down, you just really enjoy the activity of running.
Yes, and I wish more people would use running as something that they enjoy, or that kind of celebrating what their bodies are able to do, and not so much as a punishment or I ate those Oreos last night, I'm going to run it off today. And I think that it really hurts, not the sport, but it's such a great thing. And when you use it as a punishment or a weight loss thing, it turns into something totally different. Because
a lot of people say, well, I'm too old, I have aches and pains, I'm overweight, I can't run, all these different reasons, all of these different things. Mm-hmm. And to that you would say? To that I would say, you are totally not. All you have to do, just start. Just push pause on this video and go make a lap around your house, or make 2 laps. And you don't have to buy special shoes, you don't have to buy a whole workout outfit. Just start somewhere. And then maybe tomorrow do 2 laps around your house, or just kind of inch it forward. But people think that they have to do this huge thing just to start running. You don't. Just go do something. And just do something. Yeah. And so your running group, what is the name of your running group? Well, we've had lots of discussions about changing our name in the past, but right now it is Bowie Running Club. Bowie Running Club. Mm-hmm. So, and your running club is unique because it is only for who? And it's only for women, which we probably should put that in our title eventually somehow, but it is just for women. We have about 30 in there right now. Some are more active, some are faster, some are not as active and not as fast, but we all contribute somehow. And all the women are local, so they're all in Bowie, correct? Yes, for sure. So to be in the group, that's one of the things is, so you have some requirements too. Yes, you can't just, you just can't just so what are those? So if you say, oh, I want to join your running club, and I'd say, oh, great, do you live around here? Could you possibly join one of our group runs? Which is another thing. We don't always run as a group. People think, oh, running clubs, they just run together every single day. We normally do not. Normally it's just we post our run and how many miles we went, and then other people post and say good job, or things like that. It's more of an accountability encouragement group, and occasionally we run together. And it might not be all 30 of those. It might be 4 or 5 that get together and run. Yes. So would you say the strength of the group is the accountability? I would say, the accountability and also the encouragement. I think sometimes you're out there running by yourself, and then you get home and you feel kind of not alone, but you kind of just, there by yourself, and other people will say, oh, why did you just go run? Mm-hmm. There's a lot of negative about running, but it kind of creates a little bubble or community of encouragement. And you have a lot of moms, a lot of women that aren't moms, right, but a combination of all those. Right. And a lot of moms will use the busy reason for not running. And so what do you say that? Because I know that's, you and I've had discussions about that. How do moms work that into their daily schedule with kids, with activities? How does that work? I mean, how do moms do it? Yeah, that's a very good question. And our group is mostly moms. We have a few that aren't,
and some really awesome moms. Several of them will run at the track. Their kids will play in the middle of the track and they'll run laps around it. Some moms put their kids on their trampoline or run laps around their house. Some moms run laps inside their house around their islands, and they're very creative. And I wish I could list all the moms in our group because it's not just me that has this group. I kind of just organize it, but like Julianne Kreger, she maps out our routes for us. Other people come up with these challenges that we have just to kind of motivate and encourage. And so it's not just, I just want to clarify, it is not just me doing everything in this group.
It does take several, it takes the whole group, but there are others that have different roles that help out and do things. It's not, and this is not a formal, organized, it is organized, but
right.
It's not a...
Right, we do not charge any fees. We are not, we're not sponsored by anyone. We are just a group of mostly moms that get together and encourage each other to run and try to meet together. We talk about different, shoes people like. We have conversations about gear and all of that. But I think it's mostly the accountability, the encouragement, and just like this sense of community.
And when you get together and you can share your struggles, your things that are working, and it's not just about running, it's about life, and it's about...
Right. Well, and in those runs, not just my group runs, but you get a lot of, I'm praying for you on that, and a lot of support just that has nothing to do with running, just like you said, that just has to do with life.
And so you talked about challenges, the group, you come up with challenges, have challenges maybe a month, every couple, 2 weeks, 4 weeks. How do those look? And we think of challenge as, what do those look like?
Well, so our challenge right now is that we're running to Paris, Texas. And it'll take us over 100 miles to get there. And so we all our miles from that day, we add it to the previous one, so we have a total. So it just kind of motivates us to, your miles do count in our group total. Our last challenge was a 2-week challenge. It was a running streak, and it was whoever could keep their streak going the longest. And streaks are harder than they sound. Yeah. And
then you also had one that was new, right?
Yes,
what was the new one?
The one before that was from New Year's. It was a newness challenge. Anything that new, a new route, a new new pair of running shoes, a new running partner, just anything new, and you could add an extra point for the new factor. And so people say, well, I can't run a whole mile. So to be in the running group, what do you ask the group to do? What percentage do they have to run to be considered in the running group? Well, that is to get in, you just have to send me your email. And then you can run as much as you want, run as little as you want. The only thing that I do ask is that you either look active somehow. You can like somebody else's post, you can say good job, but every 6 months I do spring cleaning, and it sounds like I'm cutting people for not running, but I'm cutting people for not being active. We're an active group, and so I want people to stay active in there. And most of them do. I don't normally have to cut someone, but it's only because they haven't done anything in 6 months. Not even a like to comment.
Nothing. And to run, you say, if you have a miles challenge, you ask that you run at least 50% of it. If you put 2 miles, you're hoping that they run at least 50% to...
Right. And most of our challenges are for running miles. So if you're going to add your miles, you would say, if you ran 3 miles, I'm expecting that at least 50% of that mile is a run. But occasionally we'll have a challenge where walking miles do count. But of course you can get in 30 minutes, you can get more of 3 miles than if you were walking, you wouldn't be able to get that many. So
because of run, yes.
Yeah.
And going back to the community and cleaning out, I think it's important because it's not just come hang out and look cool group.
Right.
You do encourage everybody in it to be active participants.
Right.
Whether it's you're running, you're commenting, you're encouraging others, you're liking somebody's post, because you do it through an app that you communicate and encourage each other, share routes, all that. At group meetups once a week if you run together, and you have a Christmas run, a party.
We do.
Yes, and snacks afterwards, and there's different things you do as a group that I think is important. So I think it's important that people know that it's really working on a community for women that love to be active, and that can run, that do run. And maybe they're not runners, but they want to become a runner.
Right.
And then, so what if somebody says, I'm not going to run, I'm never going to run, I really enjoy walking? What do they do?
Well, first I'll say, I think you really do want to run. You just don't know it yet. But but we also do have a walking group, and I think our walking group, it's a little bit more mellow. They don't have as many competitions or challenges, and you can just get in there and post your runs, and other people say, "Oh, great job!" And other people post theirs, and you kind of have a little walking community as well.
Mm-hmm. So there's a place for them to go.
Yes.
Whether it's walking, running, the goal is to get active and get moving.
Yes, and I think so many people are like, "Oh, I'm not an athlete, I can't do that," or "Oh, I'm not that into it." Well, you don't really have to be an athlete or super competitive to just be healthy, and I think running helps you be physically healthy, mentally healthy, socially healthy, spiritually healthy. I think it really does help with everything. And
you love groups.
I do love groups.
So most everything that you do, and you like to have groups. You might start a group on Facebook. You might start a group me. You might start a group text. But you love groups.
Yes, I do.
Why do you love groups?
Well, I think, I like to run. I like to kayak. I like to do all these things. But it's always more fun with other people there too, because they add up something that you don't even, they just add something to it, and you get to enjoy them enjoying it as well, and you just kind of feed off of each other. And I think that's part of the energy of the group. You just get their energy and yours too. Yeah.
And it's contagious.
It is contagious.
With each other.
Yes.
And so, like you mentioned, kayaking during the summer. Well, you kayak during the winter too, because you have you have a wetsuit and a big ocean kayak and all that.
Yes.
To kayak in the lake.
Yes.
Because we've talked about kayaking, and I told you how I don't like it, and you said, "Well, I have the wrong kayak."
Yes, it's true.
Yes. So it is. I have a Walmart kayak.
Yes.
Which is much more work than a longer kayak that just floats through the water.
Yes. Very much.
I end up going in circles, and you just go straight.
That is, yes.
Yeah. So, but you also, during the summer, because since everybody's not a cold weather kayaker like you, you have a kayak group.
I do have a kayak group. I mean, I will go kayaking by myself, because that involves a lot more gear than just running. All you need is your running shoes. You can just go running. But kayaking, you need, kayak or paddle. You're going to need all these things. So yes, it takes a little bit more organization, and you can't just say, "Hey, come over in the next 5 minutes and let's go." And it takes some coordinating with childcare and all that other stuff. But yes, kayaking I love it.
and it's something, and I think it's important as a parent that we show our kids to an active lifestyle, because your kids go kayaking with you sometimes, right?
They do.
And they might not have their own kayak. They might ride on your kayak.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. So, yes, I could fit, not that they always want to, but I could fit my 3 kids and my dog on my kayak, and we would go places.
And you're doing all the work.
Yes, that's when they were smaller. I haven't tried it recently. This summer might be challenging, yeah.
But they might get their own kayaks. But they see that. And you run at home. If it's cold outside or you can't, run outside, you'll run on the treadmill at home.
Right.
And even when the kids are fussing and all that and come get you, you might get off, get back on. And I think it's important too, and you and I have talked about this, that sometimes you might get a mile in when you can.
Right.
Just because maybe you couldn't get 4 miles in at one time.
Right.
You try to get 1 mile.
Right.
And so I think that takes an intentional mindset, doesn't it? Towards wanting to be active.
Yes. Well, and also for me, I know that 1 mile, even just 1 mile, it'll significantly impact my day. After a mile, I see the world differently. I've spent that mile, running and kind of processing what I'm going to do that day and praying or whatever I need to do. And that mile really helps. So even if it's, I was planning to do a 5 mile, but I couldn't do that, so it turned into a 1 mile, I'll take it. Like that's still worth getting on the treadmill. That's still worth putting on your shoes.
And we're talking 1 mile might take you 8 to 10 minutes.
Yes.
Depend on the day.
Yes.
So we're talking about, it's not like, a lot of times I think we think, oh, it's just 1 mile, 12 minutes, why even bother?
Right.
But, and you're looking at it not from a weight loss standpoint, anything like that. It's more of I want clarity. It's going to make me physically better, spiritually better, mentally better.
Well,
It's just going to make my day better.
Right.
It's going to make me a better mom, better wife.
Right. Just health-wise, and then just for that day. I mean, I think people think running, they automatically associate it with weight loss. Oh, weight loss. But I don't believe it has to be that connected to weight loss. It's about improving your day, improving your life, and all the other things.
And you really believe that anybody can run?
I do believe anybody can run. I mean, even if you have to start off walking, like I said, like walk a lap around your house. Tomorrow, walk 2 laps. Then maybe walk, or just run maybe just a little bit, and then do a little bit more the next day. I feel like people can't. I think they expect they're going to walk outside and expect themselves to run 5 miles. And I think that's where we're all getting it wrong. Just go walk, and then turn that walk a little bit into a run, and just kind of keep working on that. But don't expect huge things out of yourself the first day you're out there.
Yes. So, and you and I have 2 different viewpoints of running. You love to run. Like, it is your outlet.
It is.
Me, I'm like, I don't like it. I've been doing it for 15 years. And there's never been a time that I go, man, this was the greatest time ever. Why I'm running.
Right.
But like you said, I do it because it's the after.
Right.
It's the after of how I feel. I feel accomplished. I feel, clear-headed. I feel like I've done something for my body. So it's that feeling. And for me now, it's a lifestyle. I still don't really enjoy it, but I'm more passionate about the feeling of it than the actual doing it. So I think, yes, I think everybody needs to run, because I think I do agree with you that at some level you can do what you can do. Just and in your running group, how wide variety are the paces?
That's a good question. And I actually messaged some people and asked them if I could use their name personally, because some of them are very, very fast, and I always want to brag on them. And I don't know if they're always very comfortable with me sharing this, but some of them are very fast. I mean, they're looking, like 8-minute pace, maybe even quite a bit faster than that. And then some of them are, just starting out maybe a 12-minute pace, 13, 14. Depends on how much they walk in there. But I would say the average maybe a 10-minute, 10:30-ish. But everybody's working on their own pace and doing their own thing. And I think that's another thing. People are like, I can't run a running group. Everyone's so fast. They would leave me behind. Well, that's not at all how things are structured, at least in our group. You won't always run with them. And nobody looks at your pace and says, I can't believe they're so slow. Nobody's like that.
It's more about, I ran, here's my pace.
Yes.
And it's not always a post of a pace. Of a pace.
Yeah, unless we're doing like a challenge that has to do with pace, but mostly it's just the amount of miles you went or the time that you went out there. So most people just post, 3 miles today, and they take a picture of the beautiful scenery and had a great day, and they move on with their life, with their day.
And I think it's important that we share too that it's really about, as we talk, if people notice that it's really about being active.
Yes.
It's not about you have to be this fast to be in our group. You have to be this certain person to be in our group. You don't have to be this certain weight. You just have to be active.
Yes.
Is the primary goal of the group.
Yes. And like I said, we don't charge anything. We're not high intense. We're not a high intensity group. We just want you to have a better life. And honestly, getting some sunshine, walking around, running, it changes your life. It really does.
And not only running, but then when you get to share some of those experiences, some of those times with other women, that maybe you don't get a chance to be around other women. Maybe it's stay-at-home moms. Maybe it's, they work from home. They don't get that opportunity. And I think, and you can probably speak more to this, but when you all get together, you realize you have a lot of common issues.
Right.
That sometimes you might think, well, that's just me.
Right.
But you realize, oh, that's, and it may be above and beyond running. It might be with kids, spouses, family, activities, just in general. And I think that goes a long way in helping your outlook and attitude. Because, momming is a tough gig.
Yes, and especially when your kids are younger and you feel very isolated, just getting out is one of the best things you can do for yourself. I don't know if I had postpartum issues, but I had some postpartum exhaustion issues for sure. And I would put my babies in a stroller, and I'd strap another one to my chest, and I would just walk around the neighborhood, and that changed my life. And so I really hope I can share that with other people, and maybe they could, they would also do something so small like that their life would also be changed.
How old is your youngest?
So my youngest is 8.
8. Okay. So we did the Synergy Shuffle, and it might have been your youngest, but there's a picture of you at our shuffle pushing a stroller with 2 in it, and you had your youngest strapped on you.
Yes. When was that? What month was that?
That was May, probably.
Okay, so my baby was a month old.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she was a month.
So she was strapped to me, and then I had a double jogging stroller, and I just pushed him, and it was the best thing. I was kind of in la la land because I'm sure I got like 2 hours of sleep the night before, but so many people were like, "Oh, good job, Mom," and I'm like, "Yay!" And Teresa Davis came and pushed the stroller for me, and a lot of people helped me, and it just really created a whole sense of community. And I think that's the big thing about having our group, about being an isolated mom too, is if you have a group that's behind you, that community, you can do a lot of things, and it, like I keep saying, change your life, but it does change your life.
Because it changes your life in so many ways.
It does.
And it's more than just running and becoming more physically active. It changes your life mentally, spiritually, emotionally. Because some of these women in your running group, you also go on retreats with through church and different things, so you have ways to connect. And there's probably some that have come to the running group that started coming to church that went to retreats. So there's avenues to grow.
Yes.
It's not just about running.
Yes, it's about being connected. And sometimes, people are in a running group and they don't really, running is just not for them, and that's okay. We can still be friends. I'll still bring it up, but
because you're still gonna.
I'm still a person that likes to run, and they are not, and that's okay. But there are still other ways that we can connect. Maybe we can walk together, or kayak together, or all of the other things. So
if somebody sees you around town, and they know you're probably going to say, "Hey, do you want to join my running group?" They shouldn't shy away from you.
No. If you would like to join, if you live around town and you are not a man, then yes. That would be so awesome, especially if you have kids. We are mostly moms, so this is the ideal group for you, but even if you're not, it's still a good one.
Because you still want to connect with people. You still want to talk to people, but know that if you talk with Leigh, you meet with her, you visit with her very long, she's probably going to ask you if you want to run or if you want to walk or if you want to kayak. So, but don't shy away. So what I'm saying is, don't shy away from you just because of that.
Yes.
Because you're still going to be their friend.
Yes, and I can still talk to them about other things, but I still probably will mention, "Hey, do you want to run? Do you want to join our group?" Because people make fun of me all the time for it, but if you're wearing sneakers or like running shoes, I will say something.
You'll ask.
So do you run?
And not to make you feel guilty, but just because you honestly have the heart, because you want people to be active.
Because they look like a nice person. I think they would be able to help our group, and our group would be able to help them, and it would be a great atmosphere for everybody. And
this is by no way your job. You substitute teach. You actually have a degree in industrial interior design.
Interior design.
Yes. Actually, at the gym, Leigh was responsible for all the paint colors and all that. That I thought black was not going to work, but she said it would, and so it did. So she's in charge of all of our. Told me what colors to do, and that's what I did. So you have a lot of other activities that this is not. This is just something you are passionate about, and you want other women to join and be part of that. So it's not something that you're full time. You do it all the time. It's just something that you have a heart for.
Yes.
And you want people to join in and be active, whether it's kayaking, walking, running,
Yes.
Mentoring at school.
Yes. Yeah.
Because you're also we might as well touch on that. You're also lead in charge of the mentoring program.
Yes.
At the.
Am I allowed to talk about the mentoring program?
Sure, we can talk about it. This is my hometown, so if that's part of you, because it goes to the groups, and I just want to share with people the heart that you have for community and getting people together and helping those that need that.
Yes. Well, I think it goes back to, when I moved into this town, I felt very isolated. I'm not from here. And then we just kind of got embraced here. And a lot of groups and a lot of people really loved on us and included us and really made us feel like one giant family. So I feel like I'm giving that back, or, just being in this family. And I really have enjoyed that. But my mentoring group.
So what is the mentoring group?
Okay.
First, because some people may not know what that is.
So adults and people around town, they come into our schools, our elementary and intermediate, and we just started our junior high. And they have one student that they mentor, that they meet with once a week. They have their lunch and recess typically, and they sit down and they just kind of talk to them, play games. Sometimes there's kind of an outline to talk about, but mostly they just kind of visit with them, kind of just form a relationship and just someone to talk to and be consistent with in their life. And that's a big deal for a lot of kids.
Because with the mentoring program, it is every week.
It is every week.
And really you encourage, if they start with the kiddos in elementary, that they follow that kiddo all the way through.
All the way
junior
up.
high.
Yes.
Yeah, and then that's a big commitment.
It is a big commitment.
But sometimes those kids don't have that consistency in their life.
Yes, a lot of these kids don't really have a consistent person. They have, a parent over here, and they're switching girlfriend, grandparents, all these things. And so if there's a person that shows up for them every single week, that's life changing as well. And people also think, oh, I can't be a mentor because sometimes I go on vacations, and no, please do not do that. These kids also need to understand that you are a human. You get sick, you go on vacations, you take care of your kids, things like that. So don't let that be a reason you're not a mentor. But we always need new and more mentors at our school. It would be ideal if every kid could have a mentor. I would love that. But that's not going to happen. But it would be nice to have as many mentors as possible. Mm-hmm. And
that's just an hour a week.
It's just an hour a week.
Mm-hmm. On a day that is good, but it has to be the same day, typically.
Yes.
So just to be, again, consistency
right.
For the teacher, for the kid.
And just for the scheduling, too. Mm-hmm. But it's a really great program, and people always say, oh, I wish, this younger generation, or, this is a way that they can jump in right here, right now, and completely affect this kid's life.
And how long have you been involved in the mentoring program?
4 years. Mm-hmm.
And are you in, I don't know if in charge or lead is the right word, I don't know. Do you do all elementary, intermediate, and junior high? Or is there a different?
Yeah, so Dr. Neese, Mark Neese at the elementary school started this program, I guess it was 5 years ago, at the elementary school. And I kind of started right after him, and I started becoming a mentor. So we did it at the elementary school, and then those kids move up to the intermediate school. And so we started a program there. And then we have one start at the junior high, and so we've just carried it on. And I'm sure we'll probably be at the high school at some point once they move up. But at the elementary school, Alicia Betts kind of coordinates the elementary school. I've done the intermediate and the junior high. Mm-hmm. But of course, we're looking for people to also coordinate those as well. So if you want to volunteer, there are definitely places to volunteer and get plugged in. And the mentor program would be a great one. So,
and as mentioned in the introduction of the very first episode of My Hometown, I talked about that, we would share with different organizations places that people can serve and get plugged in the community. Because I believe that if we all help a little bit, we make a big difference.
Yes.
And an hour of your time every day or every week, once a week, makes a big difference on that kiddo.
Yes.
And that kiddo can make a difference in our community.
Yes.
It does have a ripple effect.
Yes.
By taking that time to spend time with that student.
Right. And these kids, they look forward to their mentor coming so much. Because I'm the one who says, calls the school and says, let this person know this mentor can come or can't come today. And I make sure that they're there so that when the mentor gets there, the kid isn't, on a field trip or absent that day. And the kids are so, so excited when they know their mentor is coming. I wish I could take a picture of the kids when you tell them, hey, your mentor is coming today. They're like, punching the air. They're so, so excited.
and because that's a big deal to them.
It is a big deal.
And again, I want to share too that, that takes time for you. Mm-hmm. It's not anything you get paid for. It's where your heart is. And because it takes time to organize, to find new mentors, to get them hooked up with a kid, it takes time. Mm-hmm. Along with also having a running group, getting that organized. You have church functions that you get organized, and if you know Leigh for very long, you talk to her, she can't say no. So it's usually a yes, and that is because of your heart. Your heart is you want to help. You want to serve. You want people to be in a community.
Yes. And I think people are better in groups. And I think people, I just think that we function better with other people. And I like the mentoring program, very dear to my heart. And I think so is the running group. And so is my church and all the things there too. So I'm not doing it just because, it's another job, but I really do care about these people. And the people that are in these groups are the best people. If you knew, I wish I could tell you every single person in our running group and every single person in our kayaking group, every single person in all these things, because these are the best humans you'll ever meet.
Mm-hmm. And those different groups brought you to those people. Those different interests, those variety of, whether it's church, whether it's running, whether it's mentoring, kayaking, all those, and you do others too, but that brings people into your life that you connect with it. You might not have connected on any other way.
Right.
And I think that's important. And two, that Leigh trains with me, so we have conversations, and sometimes I mention to her, well, you can say no. And she's like, but it's a really good idea. Or I really want to do it. And so you usually say yes, and that's just where your heart is, because, and I understand, I have the same thing, because when you see something that's going to help the community, help somebody else, make somebody else's life better, enrich, it's just hard to say no to that, because there might not be another opportunity. Mm-hmm. And so I want to commend you on that, and I think that's just really special for the heart that you have for our community. And I think it's important too, I want to share that people coming outside of our community, not born and raised here in Bowie, Texas, because sometimes people might think, oh, well, you weren't born and raised here, so how can you really be connected? But you've worked at that. That's just not something that came easy. You got involved in the community and didn't wait for the community to say, come help. You wanted to make a difference in the community.
Right.
And you spent a lot of time doing that. And making differences in women's lives, in kids' lives, all across the board, just in your church members, families' lives. You're just making a difference everywhere. So thank you for that.
Well, I don't know.
In our community.
I really do think it's not just me. I play a very small part in all these groups. I just kind of organize it, and all of the really awesome people that are in the groups kind of take over, and they do their part.
And I think you're a stone that, you put it in a pond, in a tank, and it creates a ripple. Mm-hmm. And it ripples out, and other people become involved, they do things, and then they are a stone and they create ripples. And those ripples go out more than we know, more than you can see. So thank you for doing that in our community and being part of that. The last thing I like to ask is, what makes Bowie special to you, and what makes you want to call it my hometown?
Sure. Well, what makes it special to me? Like I said, I was an outsider. I came in. It's a little jarring at first because of all the things that San Antonio and Bowie are different on. But I think once you get to know the people here, these people here change everything. They make you overlook some of the crumpled down buildings and some of the things that are a little, not as, more of a negative side of Bowie. But these people here have hearts of gold. And I think once you talk to these people and you get to know these people and you spend time in groups with people, you'll see it. And you can't help but fall in love with this town. At least we did.
And do you find that, when you get to, because sometimes you come into a community, it can be a little bit of a culture shock.
Yes,
Just
for sure.
just the surroundings, the way it looks,
Yes.
depending on what you came from and saw. Do you find it different that when you get to know the people and you realize their hearts, do you start to see your surroundings differently?
Yes.
Do you start to see them a little more beautiful than when you first initially what is this?
Well, I first looked at it like why is this not taken care of? Like what, all those things. But then when you see the people that, their great-grandfather built that and they are still very sentimental about it, and you kind of start understanding a little bit more why things are the way they are, and why a lot of things operate here like that. And again, I think it goes back to kind of just understanding the people here and knowing that I feel like most of them have very good hearts and very good intentions here.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's a great point, is sometimes we're quick to judge before we get to know. There's a lot of, it's easy to look on the outside and say, why isn't this happening or that or that? But then when you get to talk to people, you get to know circumstances, you get to know reasons. Just like the mentoring program, you may have a kid that's acting up and think, oh, he's just a bad kid. Then the mentor finds out, no, he or she might have some issues at home. There's some problems going on there. And there's some real things going on that is just not what's on the surface.
Exactly.
And I think that's a good point, that we get to know the heart of our community.
Right.
What is the heart of our community? And I agree. I think that makes it very special is the people. And you're bringing those people together in different ways.
Well.
And I think that's just great.
I don't know. I'm trying to. I don't know if that. I don't know.
But it just takes one or two. I mean, we I think sometimes, just like running, we think, well, I can't run 4 miles all at one time, so we might do a mile. We might do a half a mile. Same thing I think is true with the people. I can't reach all the people, but can I reach one? Can I talk to one? Can I include one? Can I get to know one? And then when we do that, we realize, okay, it has the same effect, I think, as running. Makes us feel better, makes us just be better people with the people we come in contact with. So
That's true.
So thank you, Leigh, for all you do for our community and being a part of it and getting people to be a part of our community too. Because it just, all these little communities make up our big community. And so thank you for that and making a difference in our hometown. So we appreciate that.
I do like it here. We're going to be here for a long, long time.
For a long time.
So, yeah.
And so if they want to be part of a running group, if they want to be part of Bowie Running Club, if they want to be a mentor, if they want to, now a mentor, you can be man or woman.
Right.
Kayaking and Bowie Running Club, females. You don't necessarily have to be a mom.
Right.
So how would they contact or connect with you?
If you want to do a Bowie Running Club, then if you would Facebook message me, I think that might be the best way, with your email address. I'll probably ask you, and probably your phone number too, I'll probably call you and just kind of, I'd like to introduce you to the group so it knows something about you as well. Just kind of talk to you for a second.
Because you like to talk.
I
mean, you like to talk, not just text, but you like to actually talk to the person.
I like to get to know people,
Yes.
Especially if I'm introducing you to our group. I want to be able to say, oh, she's a teacher here, or she has 3 kids, or I need to know something about you. Just because we're all friends in there, and I'd like to include you like that. And then for the mentoring program, you'll have to do a background check and fill out a form, but you can message me on Facebook as well. What were you going to say?
Okay, yeah. So it's Leigh Deweber.
Leigh Deweber.
On Facebook.
Yes, every other letter's an E in my last name.
I didn't really.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing about Leigh is you can do that, but not in the summertime, right?
Yeah, right, exactly. So
Because why in the summertime?
because I do not.
I think
have
this is very cool. Sorry to
I do
interrupt
not
you.
have a Facebook account in the summertime because I think for me, it's very clear. I'm kayaking as well, but
Yes.
it just kind of clears my thought process where it's not so much about social media and thinking like that. It's just about hanging out with my kids and my husband and kayaking.
And so
And
pretty
that's
much when the kids get out of school, you're off Facebook until the kids go back to school, right?
Yes. And
Yeah.
yeah. And it feels kind of, at first it feels awful getting off, like, oh, I'm missing everything going on. But then when you get back on, it's like, oh, I'm bombarded with all of this stuff again. Oh yeah, vacation over.
So if it's summertime, you can't get a hold of Leigh via Facebook Messenger. You can go to my website, aarondegler.com.
Yeah.
You can contact me in any way, and I can forward the message, forward the information.
And a lot of the people in our running group, kayaking group, you know them around town. I mean, Lua Brown, Julianne Kreger, all Tamron Betts. You all know them. You just contact them, and they can get a hold of us as well.
And they'll
They'll
they can
direct you.
part of
yeah.
the group. And
Yeah, I don't want to put my phone number on here. But
no, I would
ask
not
them
either.
and yeah.
Yes. So thank you, Leigh, for spending a little time with us today. And thank you, everybody, for coming by to visit. And we're looking forward to seeing you around my hometown.